Hello, this is Stuart Knight, author of the books Marginalizing White Supremacy, Poetic Visions, A Steep Mister for a Sister, and my latest work, A Spirit the World Has Forgotten. And today I want to speak on the social contradiction between women having multiple sex partners and men having multiple sex partners. That contradiction being that when women have multiple sex partners, they're considered all kind of hoes, tramps, and sluts, while when men have multiple sex partners, they're considered valiant, virulent, masculine, and or manly. Now, most women believe that the reason for this is a mark of patriarchy, or in a sense, a male-dominated society. And in fact, it is. It was established in ancient times as a form of men to be able to know who their children are. Because during that time, sexual relations were promiscuous, and the fact that sex was happening amongst anybody and everybody, oftentimes, men or the male species didn't know who their children were. And on top of that, oftentimes, the children born from such unions did not know their brothers and sisters, and incest was running rampant. So in order to stop that, the male species began to derive the concept of what we will call the extended family or the clan unit, or the institution of marriage. So that way they can end these practices, they can know their lineages, and cut down on the incest and the disease and the contentions that were happening amongst the clan because of the promiscuous sex acts. And you can still see that today in this world, because the one thing that many women don't really understand is that a man can go out and have sex with multiple women, but he can't bring back a baby to that relationship. But if a woman was to do that and go out and have sex with somebody else and get pregnant, she can actually bring that baby back to the original relationship, saying that it was this man's, when all along it wasn't. And in some cases, when the man finds out, a lot of violent things can happen. That is also another issue with promiscuity of women, in a sense. Because yes, when a man does it, it is wrong, because he has to demean his integrity and his character and lie to satiate his, lustful sexual desires. And, usually when the woman finds out, she's heartbroken, she might want to go find another chick and, pull out her weave and scratch up her car and things like that. But sometimes, when the shoe's on the other foot, when a woman's promiscuous with multiple men, oftentimes those men that have sex with that woman, they get a sense of like they've dominated the original man by taking that woman. And oftentimes they might go and actually challenge, the original man, stating things like, you're a punk, I fucked your woman and all this, and then, violence breaks out and, somebody's likely to get killed, not no hair pulling or, car scratching, usually gunplay or, somebody getting busted upside the head with a pipe, the cemeteries are full of a lot of men who died because of the promiscuity of women. And so that is a reason for that. Now, it's not a justification, because times are way past the days when man had to populate the earth. So, once they instituted, the concept of marriage, they came up with all these ill words and bad terms so that people would move away from it, into today, where it's a more open, populated society. So to call a woman out of her name because of her sexual activities, is not really warranted nowadays. You know what I mean? As long as the woman is open about it, she's open, honest, and true about it, and she's not committed to nobody, hey, let her do her. She still has value. She still has worth. She still has a mind. And in many instances, with a lot of these men, she still has a body that they want. Now, oftentimes, in black society, a lot of black men, they don't want to, marry women like this, because they don't want to have to deal with, walking down the street with her arm in arm and, cats on the other end snickering, talking about, yeah, we all ran through it and all that, and like I said, that's because of that, cultural ideal that we fostered in establishing, the family unit in civilization. So, brothers, if a woman who's promiscuous and she's out there doing her thing, hey, let her be, she's still a human being. there's no need for the degrading words nowadays, And if you as a man are out there doing it, don't think that it makes you more manly because you have a multitude of women. It actually makes you less of a man because it shows that you lack self-control. And that is a founding tenet of what it really means to be a man. To establish your manhood is to establish your word. And oftentimes, if you got multiple women, you're lying to the woman who trusts and cares about you. And women, and if you out there, you got a multitude of men, be able to accept the consequences. Physical deterioration, psychological deterioration, possibly a multitude of children who don't have their fathers, and also, labeling. It's not right, but that's how it is. So if you don't want the tags, don't do the behavior, and it'll definitely be better for you. Once again, it's Stuart Knight, author of the books Marginalizing White Supremacy, Poetic Visions, A Steep Mr. for a Sister, and my latest work, A Spirit the World Has Forgotten. Thank you very much. Peace.